call me Chloe now, 26. Living in a big city and pretending my coffee shop job is a political statement instead of a financial hostage situation. Tell people I'm rejecting corporate culture. Reality is it barely covers half the rent on my shoebox apartment and maybe 2 dinners. If I lie to myself, just got out of a year-long relationship. Final straw was my boyfriend suggesting our big anniversary trip should be camping. Not glamorous camping, not cute luxury yurts. Actual camping. His pitch was reconnecting with nature and saving for a down payment. I stared at him, trying to process how confidently stupid a sentence can be. Down payment on what, a tent? I told him I needed a partner, not a camp counselor. He starts rambling about shared experiences mattering more than material stuff. I was already emotionally packing a bag, by then moved my things out that night. Few days later, I'm venting to my friends during a shift. They immediately understand, because obviously they do. One says my standards aren't too high, his effort was just offensive. Another says any man asking a woman to split everything in this economy is basically outsourcing patriarchy onto her. Suddenly whole dating history snaps into focus. All these men wanted 50-50 from me, while bringing zero actual security to the table. They wanted support, affection, attention, sex, validation, but no provider energy, no real uplift. What's the use of dating a man? If my life doesn't materially improve, I can struggle alone for free that night. I decide I'm done with potential. No more musicians, no more consultants, no more artists with emotional depth and empty refrigerators. Delete all the normal dating apps. Too many fish photos and men standing next to Jeeps. They definitely least download. One of those selective apps where people list profession and income bracket feels a little predatory. Choose to rebrand it as intentional, build profile, carefully, museum, photo, brunch, photo. At a place I cannot afford, laughing in a park with a paperback. So I look intelligent but approachable. Bio says, I'm sapiosexual, value meaningful connection, and want someone established and ambitious translation for men who can read subtext. If you are broke, keep moving, start swiping graphic designer, no teacher. Absolutely not trainer, left so hard. I nearly throw the phone, brutal process. Then I find him decent face, nothing, flashy. Job says software engineer, that's the magic phrase, rest of his pictures. Weirdly plain, hiking dog, group photo, where he isn't even centered. No luxury signal at all. Friends would have called that cheap. I knew enough about tech bros to think maybe it was stealth wealth. They dress like underpaid substitute teachers while making 6 figures. Swipe right. Instant match. Tiny thrill in my chest. This is it. First message from him is normal and polite. Says I seem funny. We text a day or two. I keep things breezy and cultured when he asks what I do. I say, I'm in the artisan beverage space. Exploring my next move sounds much sexier than making lavender oat milk, nonsense for strangers. Eventually, he asks me out. Says, how about coffee? This weekend, coffee. Devastating coffee is not a date. Coffee is an intake form with foam. I'd almost reject him immediately, then decide maybe he's testing, whether I'm shallow, agree anyway. Because strategy requires patience. We meet at a trendy little coffee spot. Saturday afternoon, I spend 2 hours getting ready to look accidentally flawless. He shows up in jeans and a gray shirt. Absolutely. A software guy. Stands when I walk in, though point in his favor. At counter, he orders plain black coffee. I order an $8 floral oat milk monstrosity. Sit down. Conversation is okay. He asks about hobbies. I say art, foreign films, trying new restaurants. Trying to sound like the kind of woman a successful man upgrades his life around. He talks about work for a while, something with code and systems and optimization, complete static in my brain. Just nod like it's fascinating. Keep waiting for him to ask better questions. My dreams, my goals, my inner world. Instead, he asks what I like on a low-key weekend. I panic and say urban hikes, because I once walked through a park with a matcha. Whole time, I'm scanning him for evidence, shoes, practical watch, digital, no. Obvious money markers begin to worry. I found some middle manager with no taste. Then he casually mentions a ski trip to Colorado. There we go. Skiing is never free, faith restored after about an hour. He says he had a good time. Check situation is one of those weird, pay up front coffee shop things. Time for a little field test. I slowly reach for purse and do the fake panic routine. Oh no, must have left wallet in the other bag. Try to look adorably embarrassed. He just smiles and says, not to worry. It's only coffee goes and pays no scene, no passive-aggressive joke, just handles it. Test passed. I leave feeling like a genius. Next day he texts wanting to see me again. Now it's time to set the standard. I suggest a very expensive Italian place downtown. White tablecloths, soft lighting, wine list thick enough to qualify as literature. If he balks, he's cheap. If he agrees, he's viable. He agrees instantly. Friday night arrives, wear a black dress. I absolutely bought on credit because sometimes delusion needs financing. Restaurant is gorgeous. He's already there, dressed nicer this time. Good waiter comes by and he handles everything smoothly. Orders a bottle of wine later. I Google it and find out it's over $150. Suddenly all my confidence in the process turns religious. Okay, I was right. There is real money here, relax. Immediately start thinking beyond date. 2. My strategy for dinner is simple. Listen enough to look interested. Drop enough hints that he understands the kind of life I expect. Ask about his car. Casually he names a sensible sedan brand. I must look disappointed because he adds that it's practical and good on gas. I quickly call that responsible, then ask if he rents or owns. He says he owns a condo downtown, and there it is. Software engineer, owner downtown, all the bells in my head ringing food comes amazing. I make a point of talking about how fine dining is about experience. Not consumption, tell him I dream of Europe someday. Not backpacking boutique hotels, curated travel. He listens politely, starts telling me about a brutal work project where he and his team pulled late nights to solve some huge problem. He actually seems proud of the challenge itself. I fake sympathy and say, at least the pay makes it worth it. He says the reward is solving the problem, and the money is secondary. Absolute alien behavior to me. I pivot back to lifestyle. Bill comes over $300. I don't even bother pretending. This time second date means the man pays. That's just order. He pays. Calmly. Doesn't grimace, doesn't check the total. Like he's bleeding out at that moment, I decide he is the one, or at least the one who gets me out of cappuccino. Hell drives me home in his practical little sedan. Walks me to the door, says he had a nice time, no kiss attempt. I interpret this as restraint and seriousness instead of maybe indifference. Week after that, I am floating. Tell my friends, everything they freak out in a good way. Say I manifested him. We basically workshop my escape plan from service labor in group chat. I quit job, maybe start some personal brand, maybe a podcast, maybe become one of those soft life women with candles and opinions online. He funds the foundation. I provide the feminine creative energy, modern partnership, except his texting starts slowing down, not disappearing, just less enough to make me nervous. Friends tell me to stay cool because high-value men are busy. After a few days, I can't take uncertainty anymore. Decide to define things, craft, text message like a legal document in pink lighting. Say, I feel a real connection and want to talk about where it's going. He replies that he's been thinking too and suggests dinner. Yes, confirmation. This is the conversation where he locks in. I pick a place that's nice but not insane. Don't want to look too demanding. Right before becoming official. Spend 2 days rehearsing. What I'll say? I won't be vague. Powerful women state their needs. Thursday comes. I show up feeling like I'm about to close a merger. He's already there. Looks more serious than usual. I skip most small talk because power move after ordering. I go. Right in, say, I'm glad we're having this conversation and that I'm ready for something real. Explain my barista job is temporary and beneath my long-term vision. Mention I might start a podcast or a lifestyle brand or some female empowerment platform. Say that kind of creative work takes time and can't flourish under constant financial stress. Then I lay out my thesis in a serious partnership. One person with the stronger established career should provide stability, so the other can create value in softer ways. Emotional labor, inspiration, home, energy, brand. Building, I say, I'm ready to quit my job and devote myself to our future. If I know, practical life is covered, and yes, I go into detail. Nicer, apartment, rent, bills, groceries, car payment, budget for my new venture. All of it in return, he gets a fully present partner who isn't drained by work and can focus on him, our life, and my creative growth. Finish by calling it symbiotic, genuinely proud of myself. Think I sounded visionary. Then he stays quiet for a long time, says, "Thank you for being honest." My heart leaps because I mistake civility for agreement. Then he says it's a very detailed plan and asks if I've thought a lot about it. Tell him yes. Of course, he says he's been thinking about what he wants too. That catches me off guard because I somehow forgot he might have standards. Says he wants a partner who contributes not just financially, someone curious, grounded, and genuinely interested in him as a person. Then he starts listing things, says, in all our time together, I haven't asked a real question about his passions, his work, or what matters to him, only what he earns, owns. And Drive's smile starts slipping, then says he also wants integrity, including not pretending to forget a wallet on a first date as some kind of test. Blood rushes straight into my face. He knew whole time. Then he asks what concrete thing I've actually done toward this podcast or brand recorded. Anything business plan, logo, anything besides, waiting for a man to fund it. I have absolutely nothing. He says what I've given him isn't a relationship vision. It's a business proposal where his labor buys my lifestyle and my emotional availability. The product says that's not a partnership. Says I'm not asking to build with him, just to bankroll me. Then comes the worst part. He says yes, I want a man making 6 figures, but men who work hard enough to get there usually learn how to evaluate risk, effort, and character. Says his time and resources matter too, and should go to someone who values him, not just access to his stability. Then he looks me in the eye and says, the sentence that rewires my whole nervous system. You don't meet my standards, me not meeting standards. Impossible phrase, he puts cash on the table for his half, and a tip stands up, says, he genuinely hopes I find what I'm looking for, and leaves no yelling, no cruelty, just clinical rejection. Waiter comes over a few minutes later, asking if that will be. All I look down at the bill, still over $100 after his half. I have maybe $50 to my name, have to text a friend begging for $100. Like my life is collapsing in real time. She immediately sends it and asks if he proposed. I nearly cry at the table. Following weeks are awful. I don't tell my friends the truth. Make up some story about long-term incompatibility, and maybe kids they comfort me and call him the problem, but I can't unhear him. Especially the standards line. I'd spent years assuming I was automatically the prize, that being chosen was about a man's willingness to provide. Not my ability to actually be a worthwhile partner. I viewed dating like procurement. Men were wallets with hobbies. Never really considered they might have interior lives, expectations, boundaries. Never considered they might evaluate me back. I keep working the bar. Every latte feels humiliating. Smell of burnt espresso starts feeling like the scent of my bad decisions. Watch couples come in and suddenly notice different things. The way they listen to each other. The way she asks him about his day, and he actually lights up answering the way they seem. On the same side, realize with a weird hollow ache that I want that more than I want the condo fantasy. Only problem is, I have no idea how to offer it, because I built my whole value system around what someone else could give me. Strip that away and what exactly am I bringing? That question terrifies me. Few months pass, delete the app, stop dating completely. One morning, a regular customer asks if I'd want to grab a drink after my shift. Sometime works construction. I think hands rough. Always polite, old me would have dismissed him before he finished speaking. This time, I just see a human being taking a risk and asking. Honestly tell him I'm flattered but not dating. Right now, he smiles and says, no problem, have a good one. Still comes in, still kind. I think about that. More than I'd like, still broke, still making coffee, still nowhere near having my life figured out. But something in me cracked that night at the restaurant, and the crack let reality in. Men are not ATMs with shoulders. They are people with their own fears, their own goals, their own standards. Wish I had learned that before humiliating myself like a pyramid scheme in heels.